In this video, we are going to see the example of round robin algorithm. There are three processes are given. Each process is associated with a specific burst time. P1 is associated with the 30 burst time, P2 is associated with the 6 and P3 is associated with 8. And the given quantum is 5 millisecond. It means that every process will get only 5-second time slot to complete its execution. And if the process fails to complete its execution within the given quantum, then CPU will stop its execution and it will allow that quantum to the next process. So if the P1 has the burst time is 30 millisecond, then at the initial stage, CPU will allocate only 5 milliseconds time slot to the P1, but P1 requires 30 milliseconds. So it is not possible for P1 to complete its execution within the given quantum. So obviously the P1 will restart itself in the next turn. Same it can be applicable for P2 also, and it can be applicable for P3 also. So every time they will be getting only 5 milliseconds, and that 5 milliseconds will be utilized by all the three processes to complete this execution. So this within this 5 millisecond itself will be calculated to achieve this total burst time. Now, on the basis of this given burst time and on the basis of the principle of round robin algorithm, here I have drawn the Gantt chart. Now, for this round robin algorithm, the Gantt chart will be quite longer. Now, here first we have considered the process P1, and we assume, since there are no arrival times are mentioned, we assumed that P1 has arrived first. So the starting time of P1 will be considered as 0, and the given quantum is 5 millisecond. So I have added 5 over here. So 0 plus 5, that is 5. P2 has started at the 5th second. P2 has started at the 5th second. What is the burst time of P2? Is 6 millisecond. So now at the 5th second, P2 has started in between, and P1 couldn't complete its full execution. It means that out of this 30 millisecond, P1 has utilized only 5 milliseconds. So that means still 25 millisecond is pending with P1 to complete its execution. Same, P2 required 6 millisecond burst time. But the problem is that CPU has allotted only 5 millisecond for each process. So P2 has utilized the 5 millisecond, and 1 more millisecond is still left with P2. Now P3, the turn comes about P3. P3 requires 8 millisecond burst time. Now out of 8 millisecond, P3 has utilized only 5 millisecond to complete the execution. But 5 millisecond is not sufficient for P3. So still the 3 more second required by P3. But the first turn is complete for all the three processes. This is the first turn. P1 also, P2 also, and P3 also. In the next turn, what happens? The P1 will restart itself. P1 is restart itself because 25 more second is required by P1. So P1 will restart first. P1 has taken the 5 more seconds to complete its execution. But still P1 failed to complete it. So we are adding this 5 quantum at the 15. So at the 20th second, the P2 will restart. And we know that P2 requires only 1 second more. P2 require only 1 more second. So now here the P2 will complete its execution, and P2 requires how many seconds? 6 burst time. The P2 requires 6 burst time, and 5 second is already utilized by P2. So it requires only 1 more second. So P2 will finish its execution at 21 second. So we have added plus 1 here, and the 5 has already utilized. So 5 plus 1, the total burst time of P2 is 6. Now the turn comes of P3. P3 requires 8 burst time. Out of this 8, the 5 has utilized by P3. So how many seconds more it requires? 3 more seconds requires by P3. So 21 plus 3, that is 24th. So at the 24th second, P3 will finishes its execution. Now which process left out? The P1 is left out. P1 is left out. So now let us see here how many second has finished, how many second has utilized by P1. 5 plus 5, that is 10. So 10 second has utilized by P1 out of 30. Right? So now 20 more second required by P1. P1 has utilized 10 seconds out of 30. Now it requires 20 more seconds. So now let us add that P1 will start at the 24th second. I have just continued this chart over here. 24th second, and let it add the 5 more seconds. That how many times we should add it? Till we get the 30 burst time. Till we get the 30 burst time. So 10 second it has been already utilized. 10 second is already been utilized. Now how many? 5 plus 5 plus 5 and plus 5. So how many? That is a 20 more second need to utilized by the P1 to complete the 30 millisecond burst time. So this is how P1 has finishes its execution in the round robin algorithm. Now here we are going to use the same formula as I have shown you whenever we are using the preemptive algorithms. Waiting time equal to start time minus arrival time plus new start time minus old finish time. So I have determined here P1 waiting time, that is it starts at 0. So the start time of P1. So you can see here the start time of P1. The new start time of P1 is 15 and minus old finish time. So the old finish time of P1 was 5. So with the help of this Gantt chart, you just insert the values and you can derive the waiting time for each. So here I have derived the waiting time of P1, that is 14 millisecond. 14 millisecond. So the next, again, because P1 has started, new started times are many. So the new start time, again, this new start time of P1 is how much? Is over here. And again the old finish time was here, that is 20. So 24 minus 20. So this is how we are going to calculate for all the rest of the two process, that is P1, that is P2 and P3. So this is how I have derived and we are going to calculate here the average waiting time. So average waiting time is 15 millisecond. The rest of the calculation is the same. Only thing is we have to be very careful while drawing the Gantt chart for the round robin algorithm. So I hope this round robin algorithm is must have understood to you. In the next video, we are going to see the one more example of the same algorithm.